Hey everyone, welcome to the video today. Today I'm going to be installing a Motovlogger setup on my Icon Airframe helmet construct. I'm going to be installing a microphone, which is an Audio-Technica. This is an AT3350. I'm going to be installing a 20S Sena Bluetooth unit, and I'm going to show you guys how I go about the business of setting up my helmet for motovlogging. Some of the tools you're going to need: electrical tape, scissors, some Allen keys, a little screwdriver, a popsicle stick. You'll see what that's for. A multi-use tool. Some of the things I also use are Velcro, a little bit of hardware to replace the thumb screws. I also have a couple of side mount kits from GoPro. Hopefully you guys see something that you like or something that you could use, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Alright, so this is essentially what I use to mount the camera to the helmet. I have a blacked out case with a little hole drilled out for the thing. I have two side mount kits, and the idea is I'm going to make a little arm like this, and what I'm going to do is replace these thumb screws with these little bolts. So let me go ahead and open these up. So in order to assemble this piece, what I need is your base bracket. I think for this helmet that it dished out that a curved mount will work. So what I'm going to do is start to assemble the pieces. By removing the thumb screws. And getting the pieces all lined up the way I want them. Alright, so what I have here is two longs, two shorts, and the base. Now here is where my little bolts are going to come in handy, because these are the little guys that I'm using to replace these. It just streamlines things, and really that's kind of the core of it. It streamlines it, and I don't get my helmet caught up when I'm trying to turn my head. So I use these. So what I start with is I start with the base. I start with one long. Ollie. Oh, wrong size. All right, so I have it's a hex head little bolt with a washer so that I don't tighten it into the plastic. So I just kind of get it tense enough so that I can kind of move it and stop it. So I have the base. I have one long, one short. And you know what? I mounted this back. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to take your base, take one long, insert it with the nut part facing in. Now, not to over tighten it, I still want a little bit of play. Alright, and then what I'm also going to do is take my next piece, which is a short, and I want it with the, see what I'm working towards here. So all right, so I still got play. Now I'm gonna need another long, and this one I also want to go like that. And then the last short, okay, so I have my little arm. Now, and this is where I do use a thumb screw. Okay, so this is the basic arm that I use to attach to the helmet. So what I want to do is kind of size it up a little bit. Looks like this. Might have to go like that. Now, because every helmet's different, this is usually the tricky part. Because what you want is for the camera to sit in such a way that it is nice and even and doesn't interfere with the visor movement and is nice and flush on the helmet, and nice and centered would also be great. So that looks pretty good. Now the brilliance of the arm part is it allows for adjustment. So if you're not exactly spot on and you don't feel like tearing the mount apart, you just adjust it. All right, I've stuck the mount to the helmet. Let me do some final adjusting here. All right, doesn't interfere with my visor. Is nice and streamlined. Looks really nice. Now I'll be able to adjust this as I go through testing portion, and what the testing portion is simply just making sure that my camera angle's on, that my wires are set in place, that my mic works, and I'll probably do a few rides with the helmet in just kind of a test mode before I really get to the business of using it for vlogs. So I think the camera's in place. and that's it. There it is, my little mic adapter. Typically I run it just behind the helmet and then kind of let it sit there and then plug in there. That's how I do. Let me go get a Senna. Okay, so there it is. Camera's in place, arms in place, Senna's in place, mics are sits in there nice. Battery pack sits in there nice. Doesn't interfere with the visor. Center mic placement, regular mic placement, and that's it. This will be the motovlogging setup that I'm using on the CBR for the foreseeable future. Okay, well there it is. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the description below, and I will address them. So this is it. You know, until you really get on the bike and do some testing, you just don't know. So that's what I'm doing. Ha, little kid wave.